Hey guys, welcome back. This is Savant Strike. A little bit embarrassing there. Ran out of memory on the camera, so I got cut off. As I was saying, what I personally recommend is that if you ever do a blade for somebody else, you sterilize it before honing it so that your hones, which are porous, don't get any nasties in them, and then you do it after honing it, so that they know that it's clean. Anyways, just gonna keep going here. It's going pretty well. I think yeah, it's definitely getting a little bit more bite as time goes along. It's taking a really nice edge. Okay, it seems as though the tip is actually a little bit less sharp than the rest. That's actually really easy to do. All you have to do is just not push the blade the whole way across the hone, which is much simpler. Although if you're doing it right, I've always found that it just sort of, it almost wants to go across the whole hone, because your trained motor movement there, your mind's telling you, hey, go to the next step. But maybe I'm just crazy. Working out pretty well here. As you can see, I'm focusing on the heel a little bit more again. I like a really sharp heel. I know a lot of people don't rely on it, but every once in a while for the upper lip, I find that the heel is the best place. Getting a little dry there. Yeah, and I think really the only way to know is to just sort of look for that sticky feeling when you're running your finger across it. You just it should feel sticky. Actually, when I was first learning to hone, I actually, like I said, do not cut yourself when doing this, but it's epidermis, so eventually it got desensitized from all the thumb pad tests. I actually had to start using my index finger and some other things because I didn't want to wait a week. Yeah, okay, so I'm crazy for honing. Shoot me. But I think that about does it for that portion of it. So we'll go straight to the 8000 grit. And the nice thing about these hones, I find, the Nortons, as well as what I'm going to use after this, which is a Naniwa 12,000 grit, is that if for some reason you find that you just didn't do well enough on the lower grits, when you get to the higher grit, you can go back down to the lower grit, and it won't take 5 million passes at the higher grit again to get it back to where it should be. At this point, this 8000 grit is really just polishing the edge. And you should have a feather-light touch on the hone. Really, I mean, if possible, you should almost be applying negative pressure. And by that, I mean, hold this part up, but don't hold it so that it's uneven on the hone. But hold it really light. I don't know if the camera can really show you this, but with each stage that you go through, the bevel gets much, much shinier. That's normal, and frankly, if it's not getting shinier, you're doing it wrong. That's another one of those little things that you can look at to say, am I doing this right, or do I need to go back to the drawing board and say, hey, wait a minute, is there something not adding up here? Also, not so much with the higher grit stuff, but with the lower grit stuff, it's important to periodically lap your water stones, just a little bit, to keep them clean. Eventually the higher grit stuff needs that, but it's seldom and rare. And you notice I just slipped up there and used a little bit of pressure. I'm not actually finished with this. In fact, what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to stop here and I'm going to continue the video because I don't want to hit the 10-minute mark. And I'll probably do this and the 12,000 grit stone in the next video. So stay tuned.